Hello and welcome, and just for Nico, hi there! This is a StarFinder, the Fragments of Eternity. It's the 19th of December 2018. I am Ryan, the GM, and we are recording our first ever Chapter 0 session. Here's the player.
Hi, I'm Calum, and I'll be playing Zigg. It feels really weird going first.
Yeah.
And last, I guess, subsequently. But yeah, it does. It's totally strange. I'm used to this whole lot of other people's ambling chats before I have to say anything. And I
you
feel
can
like
say it, Colin. You're used to Colin. It's fine.
I'm used to Colin. Colin, I miss you.
Oh, hashtag Colin is precious. Well, we're here, I guess. Hello, Nick. Hello,
Hi,
Tom.
Nick.
Hello, Shoris.
Hi, Tom. Hi,
Hello,
Shoris. Oh, I totally forgot about Shoris. Sorry.
everybody. Yeah, I mean, just in general, hello.
Yeah.
From all sides, I guess.
Hi. Hi there.
I guess we'll just do our plugs here. Smash that like button, subscribe, find other people to subscribe, get them to find other people to subscribe, make it a wee competition, see who can get the most subscribers. Also, I'm Viktor Triumph on most things. Find me if
I'm Calum Blaine
yeah.
on most things.
Yeah, so
Great.
there we are.
Oh, you should go onto Twitter and at Dracula Fuckboy. That's FUCCBOI.
Not going there right now. BUI?
BOI, obviously. It's the official Fuckboy Dracula page.
Mm. The official. This is on Twitter, you see.
On the Twitter, yes.
Mm.
Regardless of what Colin says, it's the official one.
I don't know, like, I feel like I just want you to link me to this at some point, because I've just got Swag Dracula here, so... like... I mean...
Sure.
It was excellent. So yeah, welcome to our very brief pre-game, I guess.
Yes.
Since we are...
It's just me and you, I guess.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this literally just you?
I guess it's just me. Well, I guess what I've been doing this week...
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been trying to think of karaoke songs to sing, because I've got a few karaoke things happening. But I have no idea what to sing, and it's one of those things where I want to choose all the songs that I could not possibly sing in real life. But yeah, I'm undecided for the most part. So in the comments, if you've got any great karaoke songs that I could definitely not sing, hit me up.
Who is this Dracula fuckboy? Is this just a random Twitter account you've made, Calum?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I'll hit follow.
Purely to annoy you, Colin.
Excellent. Ridiculous. Just done. I've followed you.
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Amazing. So yeah, for those of you wondering what the hell we're doing, the disclaimer right here is that if you've listened this far and you're wondering, should I still be listening? The answer is obviously yes, but when? And I would say this is probably best experienced after Chapter 2's finale, which is Session 12, since that's when we recorded this, before Chapter 3, in the void between the winter holidays and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will take place before Session 1, technically, so yeah, it's really up to you when you watch it. So I don't really know why there was a disclaimer, so fuck everybody, I guess. With consent, of course. So, yeah. Probably won't be as long as people are used to, for all you...
Which is probably good. I don't know if people could stand listening to me be Zigg for that amount of time. I don't think my brain could handle being Zigg for that amount of time.
I mean, it's totally fine.
It'll be fine.
I'm excited for it. I can't wait for us to just realise how little of the combat rules we know together as well.
Yes. This is where I'm going to be like phoning Alex, like, here, what's the rule for this?
Hey buddy, It'll be completely fine. Don't worry about it. I said don't worry. So yeah, I think we should probably just get stuck in then. I guess.
I mean, yeah, let's just go for it.
Yeah,
It's the worst that can happen.
Well, probably a lot of things. But
Zigg dies in the past and the future, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Bye bye.
So, to set the scene, we have Zigg, who's part of the kind of monastery of the Solar Disciples. They are set on the sun, of course. We have the... what's the word for it? Thinking of a word. The order themselves, they train people, like you get Solarian classes, which like Zora is. You get like the Mystics classes that Zigg happens to be, but it's not like solely limited to that. It can be like completely varied depending on your persuasions and such. Mostly it's just like a connection to this, like the burning mother that is the sun. So I wouldn't say that there's much in the way of segregation maybe that people would do. I don't know. Maybe Calum, you could talk about your order a bit, right?
Yeah, I kind of weave it. Yeah, no, it's very. The entire point of it is that you or whoever has sent you there is like got a deep connection with the sun or whatever, the burning mother, I should say. Sorry, I've just got like gas.
It's okay. We'll edit it.
2 seconds.
It's all gone, Pete Tom.
Yes, apologies about that.
It's all gone, Pete Tom.
It's fine. We're getting all this like nonsense out the way first, so that the rest of it can be super smooth.
Sure. I'm gonna make no comments. That's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. Where was I? I've completely lost my train of thought there.
It's okay. We're still here.
Okay, that's good.
Yes. We're talking about the Burning Mother and the temple, the monastery of the Solar Disciples. That's what we're talking about.
Ah, yes, excellent.
And you were just telling us a bit about it. That's what you were doing.
Yep. So it's I feel it's actually a fairly substantial monastery. It's got quite a lot of divisions for sort of the sort of path you're choosing within the Solar Disciple. I don't want to say sect, but sect.
Yeah. I don't want to use the word I only can think of, but yeah, that one.
Yes, for lack of a word that I just don't have. So yes, you've got like Zigg's going down, definitely more of the mystical, using the sun as like a guide through the whatever you call the Space Force in this universe. But of course, there's whole divisions of people who don't have any sort of like connection to mystical abilities or anything. Or you've got like Zora is a Solarian, obviously, yeah, it's a very. I think it's cool.
No, I think it's pretty damn cool as well, quite frankly. Like the Mystic class is awesome. The Solarian class is awesome. There's just the system is just full of a lot of really funky stuff, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I'm glad we get a kind of chance to almost like mess around with and showcase and.
Yes, explore it a little bit, and obviously I think we'll be kind of like learning stuff about it sort of as we go as well, as it kind of solidifies, because it is quite a vague concept right now.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, it's the same as the system itself. Like, obviously, I think anybody that's been watching us knows that we are very new to it, and we're happy to take our time, like trying to like get comfy with the system, because yeah, it is a lot of rules.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like, even when we were reading through the whole section on the sun, and there's just so much. There's just so much stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like. We're just kind of scratching the surface a little bit, which is, yeah.
But it's nice to actually have the like the scope to do that as well, because like when you'd suggested doing this, I'm like, this is a great idea. I think people would be quite responsive to like, the idea of doing like a prequel type thing. And like as we were saying, it'd be nice to give people a bit more info about Zigg, just in general, really, because
Yes.
that's the one thing that people didn't get.
For like the first arc,
Yeah.
we just had a few nods and stuff.
So it's nice to be able to actually be able to do that for like yourself.
For me.
Yeah, and it also
For
just
me.
like I have no issue like running this type of idea for other people as well. It's kind of a nice thing to be able to do for folks if they want to actually do a bit more with their character work, etc. Because again, gives you that bit of an insight without you sitting saying to someone, "Oh, and I do this and I do that and I do this," and you know, bam, bam, bam.
I think it is also really handy from a player's perspective as well. You know, you kind of get to learn things you might not have like decided about your character as well.
Yeah, because obviously you get choices that come in, and then you have to make decisions.
Yeah, and then that adds to how you're gonna play the character further down the line.
Gonna move us to another map.
Ooh!
So
Yes, that's so cool.
that's what I'm gonna do.
Sorry.
I actually need to do this manually, because apparently when you're a GM you can't be moved. So yeah, I managed to get that added in as well, just to kind of make it kind of a bit cooler. Let me just adjust this so people can see a bit better. This is on the surface of the sun, the Burning Mother.
The Burning Mother.
And this is where our story will be taking place, which is awesome. Yeah, so we have Zigg returning from his travels with the crew of the 11th Hour, quite frankly. He went off on a kind of coming of age pilgrimage type journey that the kind of, what's the word, acolytes, I guess, the disciples, of the monastery, if you will. Like they go off, they go learn things about the world, they come back, they kind of enrich the order that way. They you go out and kind of almost earn your place within the order and the world and get a name given to you, etc. So it's kind of cool for that, to be honest. Love the fact.
Quite exciting stuff.
Yeah. We also learned, just as a wee side note, Lashuntas should never go near the Burning Mother.
Zack being a Lashunta on the sun, it's honestly hell. We could probably do like an entire like talk episode on just why Lashuntas shouldn't go to the sun.
If anybody wants that talk, please let us know in the comments. But yeah, like even if anybody wants us to actually, in fact, talk about like, and by all means, any of the players in the group, feel free to vote on the subjects you'd like us to talk about more, and we'll see if we can do a wee video. Maybe you want to know about the Vesk War, maybe you want to know about what our thoughts on that are, maybe you want to know about the Swarm, who knows, maybe just what people's bank account numbers for the Church of Abadar are, like, well, you decide in the comments. But yeah, like when we were looking at the map as well, like, I just love the fact that like nobody knows who built this officially. Like this was all just here before people discovered it was there on the sun.
Yeah.
Like that I love.
So literally everyone is an immigrant.
Yeah.
Which is just very pleasing to me.
Yeah, and like the temple of like the first ones, it's like, oh, I guess maybe it was all the Abalonians, the original ones, that maybe built this, and then people go, yeah, but we don't know that. And that's as far as the actual information about the world goes. And yeah, like it's the best thing about StarFinder as a system is their locales are fantastic. They're, as I said, I looked at the Pact Worlds book, and that's where like this image came from. And every single map, I was like, you could pretty much run a campaign in any of these maps. There's so much work put in to not only just like the art itself, but like the lore they pad out, the kind of the info sections of like the Radiant Cathedral, the Brass Bazaar, like the fact that Abadar Corp have their hypermarket here,
which I think is just really funky.
Yeah, it's overall it's pretty damn cool. I really enjoy that. My personal preferences, though, the monastery, I think, because we've not really spoken about replacing it here, but I kind of want to put it near Sun Atlas because I just feel like it's near the Solar University. It's in Stella Cuna. The reason I want to put it over there is just because it's kind of like close to the central bubble, but at the same time it's kind of off in its own little bit. You've got the Deep Cultures Institute, which I love. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of putting it kind of away off on its own a little bit.
Yeah.
Like even to the point where like that place between Dawnshore and Stella Cuna, that kind of connecting arm that I'll ping
That little
for, like this
that
part
thing
here.
Yeah.
Dual ping.
boom,
Like
ping ping.
Indeed. I could even have it set there if need be. Like it's the beauty of the map, really. There's so much of the StarFinder maps I want to explore, quite frankly, with the game, but obviously I'm still in my setup process for a lot of that, so it's good, it'll be fine. And these will totally survive the current events that I will try and keep spoiler free. Just in case people watch this out of order. Yeah, I know.
Dear.
Yup. But I mean, sure that'll be funny for anybody that's watched up until session 12 and including session 12, so that'll be fine.
And if you have, well done and thank you.
Yeah, mostly thank you.
Mostly thank you.
Yeah, mostly. But also
If you make it through this one, I'll be impressed.
feel free to comment and let us know. Yeah.
I will send you a medal.
Speaking of starting though,
Yes.
the return of Zigg, like how long have you been back to the temple, right? So talk me through it. So you're back to the temple, you've got your stuff settled back in, you've said your goodbyes to the the crew of the 11th hour. Like maybe you've not seen them in like some time before obviously we catch back up with them in session, like what is it, like 6 or something?
Yes.
When you get reunited with them, 6 or 7. And yeah, like how long have you been away from them so far then? Because as I said, we know that they were on Absalom Station and then they got a job and went off to the diaspora, but obviously you could have left them, any number of days, weeks, months, etc. beforehand.
Yeah, I think at least probably have been back, like a settle down period is sort of like a weekish. Just like getting reacclimatized to, being in his old
yeah, well, it's maybe like
room and
maybe you left them about like a month ago then, and it was like several days travel to get here, and then it's obviously several days to travel to get back, and then they have several days travel to get back to Absalom as well. So it gives us probably the exact amount of time we probably need. Is maybe it's been a month since you've since you return, like you leave them, and then you get back to them. That time span will be a month. That makes sense. Good.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like, what does Zigg do? Like when he gets back, what's the first thing he does? He arrives at the monastery. What do?
I think the first thing he does is he probably goes to like his room, or I guess cell, because it's a monastery, isn't it?
I mean, you can say room. Cell seems a bit cold.
Say a room. Cell is, but it's a really comfy cell. So, but yeah, no, he'd probably just go straight to his room and just unpack all his like shiny things that he's happened to pick up on various undisclosed adventures with the crew,
Oh yes, lots of those soon to come and probably previously on adventures.
Yes.
But yeah, so like what are you unpacking? Because obviously you are a bit of a hoarder that way.
I'm a bit of a hoarder, so most of the things are just stupid, like little shiny trinket. There'll be like a couple of genuine fake medallions from yesteryear, sold at some random like market and wherever we were, Castrovel or whatever. I don't know. Obviously, I don't actually have a good expansive knowledge of the lore of every planet, so I don't know if that was a bad choice or not. But
I mean, for Emlyn maybe, but we'll get to that.
yeah.
Also, just on that note, hello, Ulka, Alex, Colin, and Nico. Hashtag Calum is precious, and yeah, just a wee hello to the actual players of the game.
Hi guys, I miss you a lot.
But yeah, so like, what have you brought with you?
Other than that, his personal belongings, which are mostly consist of flares.
Yeah, I mean,
I must say.
and like when you were traveling, did you travel in like your monk's robes, or did you change into
He's
them when you were here?
He's got like multiple sets. So there's always a set that's at the monastery, which is your monastery set, kind of like how you would have your Sunday best or whatever.
Yeah, your Sunday best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And then so he's kind of got like traveling robes / toga type thing, which I suppose he'd get changed, I guess, after unpacking everything. Yeah, and just
No, it makes sense. Yeah, makes the sense. Nice.
I think he'd wait until he'd kind of sit in this room, just admiring and like placing all his little shiny things just across like the one shelf that's in the room neatly, and just staring at it and waiting for the kind of obvious call for the kind of welcome back. Sort of, I don't want to say feast, maybe because I'm a little bit hungry, but
but yeah, that makes sense. I think as well with that, maybe your mentor is the first person that kind of like meets up with you first.
Yeah.
So like as you get back, you settle in. Like maybe some time passes, and then like what do you do? Like is it like you go to grab some food, etc. Like go wherever
yeah, I think
the food hall is, etc.
Yeah, I think in like each sort of section, because there's like on each floor of like rooms, as it were, there'd be like a sort of like cafe hole thing where you can go and get like light snacks, and then there's obviously like where everyone would go for like a main food hall.
So essentially like a vending machine on each floor, basically.
Yeah.
Get your solar bars.
So you'd probably just get stuff out of the vending machine and have some nibbles. Maybe chat to someone in the corridor if there's anyone kicking around in the corridor. And
yeah, I mean the place has probably got like a bunch of people, because I mean I imagine that they do like a graduation kind of ceremony thing quite a lot in terms of like they'll do them in big groups and waves of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll be a lot of people during that sort of week period. There'll be a lot of people coming in and out. A lot of people arriving back from various
like their pilgrimages and such.
Their pilgrimages.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like during the course of maybe like you trying to catch up with fellow classmates, as it were, at Solar School, you bump into obviously your mentor. And let me just share. So we decided your mentor was a lovely android lady.
Yes.
Does that work? That should work too. There we go. There she is. Who we called Edzo 14.
Edzo 14, which it's just fantastic.
I think as well. Maybe we've got maybe the eyes glow a bit more than what that image maybe shows. Maybe it's like a nice yellowish glow that comes off of them.
She's quite thematic.
Yeah, and she's got her her robes on as well, and she's like one of the kind of the senior members of the monastery, and they're generally assigned a new disciple to kind of like take under their wing, train, kind of impart the teachings of the Burning Mother, etc. And she's had obviously an interesting time with Zigg's enthusiasm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting is probably the correct word.
I can't remember. Did we decide on a personality type for her, or did we just get sidetracked when we were trying to decide?
Yeah, we said it was quite a Saber-esque.
Yeah, like quite like matter of fact, kind of almost like carries herself with a bit of dignity, and has like we did indeed, because then we got lost on the fate
I'm talking about fate.
conversation.
Yeah.
Which I'll do my best not to talk about right now. And this just becomes a fate thread.
Welcome to Fatecast, where we talk about nothing but fate for the next 4 hours.
I'm here for that. But then
I'll add it to the list of podcasts I've got to start.
I still think we should do that thing where we review things where I've seen it and you've not, and vice versa, and we just talk about it as if we both seen it.
Yeah,
like that.
a great idea.
And then we can just decide who's actually seen it and who hasn't, and you get to vote.
Oh, it's a competition. Oh, excellent. Oh, I love that.
You
It's like we kind of segued back into a little bit pre-game here, but like,
that's fine. We'll work our way back out. And so anyway, back in the game. The Edzo 14 obviously was expecting your arrival, but given the way drift space travel, she knew it'd be the next few days that you'd be arriving. And graduation pretty much just commences when all the people to graduate arrive.
Yes.
Barring any ridiculous extended periods of time for the ceremony. And so she heads up. As I said, she's in very kind of like traditional, shall we say, robes for the sun. And I think maybe this is you like scrunched up on your bed with your snacks. You're sitting. Maybe you're studying. I don't know. Like what would Zigg be doing? Kind of waiting, I guess, on like his attendance essentially.
I think Zigg would probably, because he's quite keen to be like semi-focused on, so he'd be flicking through the sort of data pad on the teachings of the Burning Mother and various things, but I think he'd keep getting distracted by like a particular, like we'll say like a silver pendant thing that he just happened to find on Absalom Station for argument's sake. And he'd just keep going back to it and flicking around with it and like sticking it in his mouth a wee bit, gnawing on it, spitting it out,
like maybe
and then going back to the data pad, flicking through another few screens on that.
Maybe you've sat it like on like the kind of like the window kind of slot where like the light comes into the room, and you've hung it there because maybe the way the light catches it, it makes a nice pattern on the wall. So maybe every now and then you go and spin it so it does that almost disco ball effect.
No, I like that.
Because I can see it's like, and obviously maybe when it stops moving, that's when like he kind of like looks up from the data pad, goes up, hits it again, scurries back to the bed, back to the data pad, and it's just almost the comfort knowing it's moving without needing to even look at it. It's just the knowing it's moving, so everything's sparkly. Yeah.
Yes.
I like that too, and
that's great.
I think maybe we've got you like going up to hit the pendant, and then as you turn round to kind of scurry back, like we've got Edzo standing there, and she's like that kind of creepy way where it's like your master doesn't make any noise when they move type thing.
I think Zigg would probably turn around and do that thing when you jump, like when you feel like you should be doing something and you're not doing that thing, and then your boss walks in and then you're like, oh no, that's exactly
startled motion.
Yeah.
Totally what happens. And then like she kind of just stares in that kind of stoic way with her eyes, kind of that kind of amber kind of glow, and like it's one of those kind of deep amber, and like she blinks, and obviously the light adjusts in the room as she blinks, and just, you've returned.
Yes, I have. And I think he'd like flick the shiny thing so it spins as he says that. And
I think maybe she smiles at that because obviously she's probably well used to you. Like she knows you like kind of sparkly things, right, and shiny things, and and why else would you be here at the Burning Mother, right? It's the biggest shiny thing.
The biggest shiny thing that's within like travel distance.
Yeah. So like she smirks at that as well, like a kind of warmish smile, and then she kind of quickly like kind of goes back to like business face, and but not in like a kind of cold way of. It's just more that she doesn't want to get too distracted with the oh god, he's what we've got, and she kind of smiles and she goes, "How was the trip back?"
Well, it was quite long, I have to admit, but it was passable. Person across from me had no chats whatsoever. It was rubbish.
And and she's like doing that kind of like blankly staring at you because she knows she's waiting to say something else, but obviously knows it's polite to wait for you to finish saying what you're saying. Because she's like, he'll talk, he'll reply, so I'll wait. And then, like, if Zigg doesn't say anything else to her, she then says, the ceremony will begin as soon as the last student arrives. It should not be too much longer. Ideally a day at most. Almost all of the other disciples have already arrived and have settled in. Do you have any concerns, Zigg?
I'm a little bit anxious, but apart from that, I feel pretty great.
I would be worried if you weren't anxious. That's a good sign.
Oh, phew. Good. Okay, I'm less anxious now.
Thank
you!
I think she kind of just... We see her roll her eyes.
They scream.
They scream, of course. And then... it's just going to be one of those... It's going to be one of those callbacks that I make in general forever.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah, and then...
It's never going to stop even.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's just going to be one of those things. Everyone's eyes will roll, they'll scream, and then, like, games from now, where the joke is long since lost time. Yep, it'll be made. I love it.
Yeah. And we will forget, like, where it even came from.
We'll forget the origin.
It's always been.
Yes.
We'll forget the origin.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
Can I have a YouTube channel? Feel free to find your way to it. I hope you have already done so, being here. Yeah, unless you've found me on a podcast somewhere. In which case, hello to you people who are in the future.
Possible shortly.
But yeah, Patreon /Viktor Triumph. And then, so while she's there in the room, and she kind of like rolls her eyes, they scream internally, of course. And she then says, your excitement will be missed when you graduate. Have you planned beyond your time with us?
I think he'd kind of look there and his nose would twitch a wee bit and kind of think, and he goes, I think I'll hang out with my friends for a bit.
And how went your pilgrimage?
It was fascinating. I saw so many things and met so many people and told loads of people about the sun, and they all were very receptive to my knowledge of our burning mother.
And she kind of like nods, kind of like very kind of gently and gracefully. If anybody's ever seen Farscape, very much like Zan would.
Yes.
She kind of like nods very delicately and goes, "I'm glad to see you sparing the warm words of our burning mother."
I love the idea of like a kind of like a little sort of flashback to Zigg talking at people at speed.
Yeah, it's like a montage
about everything
of like
the sun. They're just standing there staring at it.
It's just a montage of like the 11th hour though, right? And it's, you know, like you've got Emlyn like piloting through the drift space and like tapping in course corrections, and you know, got a cigarette hanging out of her mouth with her shades on, and then, or maybe her shades are like just like up on her hair. She's tapping away, and then you're there going, and this thing about the burning mother, and this thing about the burning, and then she just like twitches like her antenna a little, and it knocks the sunglasses down over her eyes, so it's as if she's just tuned out of you.
Yeah.
And then it like harsh cuts to like Lyko waiting on his microwave meal going round, and it's just like we see it from inside the microwave, and it's just you, but you're muted because of the noise of the microwave, and it's just your mouth moving constantly up at Lyko, who's just staring at the microwave meal in that kind of, oh god, why is this continuing type face. Again, maybe we harsh cut across to you kind of climbing over Nick's 5 while he's trying to work on bits of the engine as well. Like I like that, like the idea of the montage of, here's what you did, is where you just accosted your crewmates with sun facts. So if anything, you've shared the word of the sun instead of ever really brought anything back with you. But I like that. It's good. It's good to be montage. Yeah. You know, we've just got like Zora picking you up by like the scruff of your neck and moving you to the other side of them so that they can like get you out of the way of whatever they were in the middle of doing as well. That's good. I enjoy this. So we have that harsh cut montage, and it cuts back to the room, and obviously we continue with obviously like the question she asked about, you know, how was your pilgrimage, etc., etc. Which is, I'm sure the Radiant Supreme will be very eager to hear of your experiences during graduation. She kind of like clasps her hands in front of her and kind of like nods slightly. She also has like a kind of like mote of light that floats around her head. Kind of nice, kind of like, again, that amberish, glowy orange. And to those that know their classes very well, it means she's a Solarian. And she kind of like nods gently, and then like she kind of goes to leave the room, and then she like takes a couple of steps away with her back turned to you, and then she stops and kind of looks over her shoulder and she goes, "The mess hall has just been restocked," and then kind of like turns back like over her shoulder and just carries on walking away down the corridor, because obviously she's seen that you've obviously got your snacks on your bed, so and she knows you obviously probably like food. Let's face it.
Yes.
So she wanders off, knowing that that's probably something Zigg's very pleased to hear, you know. Yeah, so what do we see Zigg doing once his mentor leaves, and probably that kind of almost pressure leaves, you know, this is the person that I don't want to disappoint, you know.
Yeah, I think you kind of get like a little bit excited like, and just do a sort of kind of like a circuit around the room, really quickly, so you know what like an excited hamster would do, running into his hamster wheel, and I think he'd grab his shiny thing from the windowsill, stick it in his cheek pouch, and actually just go to the mess hall.
Yeah, you see him gonna like unhook the pendant thing from the wall, kind of wrap it up in his hand so it's all kind of balled up, and then just puts it in his mouth. Yep. Checks in his cheeks, and then just scampers off. Yeah. So you head through the monastery, obviously, kind of bustling in general. Like it's not exactly like a kind of, you know, oh, it's Hogwarts graduation and, you know, people's parents are here because of whatever reason for like school vibes. Like it's almost people that find their way to like the Solar Disciples are generally people of not so great fortune. You know, it's a kind of place for the lost to come find the light, as it were, and other such wonderfully cliche things. But yeah, it's definitely a home for those who seem to be without one. And yeah, I think with that kind of state, you've got a lot of people kind of returning, and kind of this is their family now, or it has been for several years, depending on how long they've been studying for, and you know, the kind of like scattered age ranges of different races and such. And yeah, like there's just a mishmash of different races here. There's no specific you can't be here. But like I just like the fact that it's very, very welcoming. The sun doesn't discriminate, you know. There's a headline you'd never see, and and with yeah. Moving.
I like what you did there. Well done.
Thank you. And then welcome to the single one shot where me and Calum just compliment each other constantly.
That's it.
Yep.
Oh, you described that so well.
And you complimented my describing of it so well.
Oh yeah. It's fine. I'll cut that out in post. It's all good.
Sure we will. And yeah, so like you've got a choice. Like you can head to the canteen. You can go wander through the rest of the monastery. You can go try and find your mentor, any specific people that you had, like you know, in the monastery. You could go to like the training rooms. Like it's really kind of carte blanche for Zigg at the moment.
Yeah, I think first call of order would be to get some like proper food, and probably have a scout around and see if there's anyone he like fairly knows fairly well that he can kind of like sit with and eat, and whether or not the person would appreciate Zigg being there is another story. But
yeah. But it is definitely, I think nice to see almost like being back with people that he would have called, I guess, family. Really, like it'd be the word he'd have for it. You've got obviously the kind of adoptive family you've claimed from the 11th hour as well. You
Yes.
have yeah, I mean, as I say, it's been about like 2 years with them, and like more than that with these guys, right? Like, I mean, how long has
Well,
Zigg been
yeah.
here? Like, Zigg's what age in the current
He's
timeline?
12 in current time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we decided that he was 6 when he was
Yeah, he brought to
when he
the
was dropped off
yeah,
at the
yeah, the
um,
monastery.
monastery. Uh, just because I felt like a 6-year sort of
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
6-year program is probably not the right word, but seemed quite accurate considering.
I think
I
it's
guess
well.
that's what school is, isn't it?
Plus, it's kind of like it's not necessarily the same for every day. It's kind of when you hit your own personal enlightenment, right? So again, the puns are great, but like it is just genuinely like you'd be there till you feel like, well, I feel like I've learned what I came here to learn. Like the Burning Mother spoke to me. Here's what I got. Like this is my connection. Yeah, there wouldn't be like some people come here and like see the true way of a specific god. Sarin Ray is worshipped incredibly over in general over here. On the sun. But yeah, like the sun itself is just essentially worshipped as the Burning Mother. But yeah, I think with that, like we had the cafeteria, we see you doing whatever you do in the mess hall type vibe. You get some food, some sun food.
Yes. Quality sun food.
Yep. And yeah, like unless you've got any specific kind of scenes you want to kind of convey to anyone at home, all you viewers there, I'm happy to start dipping towards graduation, quite frankly.
Yeah. I guess other than just like, I guess like a small little like cutscene, as it were, of Zigg finding like a couple people sitting next to them and just talking at them about his time with this mismatched crew that he's been going on quote unquote adventures with.
Like maybe it's been like obviously you've got your food, you've spotted someone maybe they're in a group of, like maybe a small group of people that are friends, and they've been talking about like, oh, here's what I got in my pilgrimage. I'm gonna like show this to like the Radiant Supreme XYZ. Like you've got them chatting away, just like excited student type thing, as if they've got like their upcoming exam. And then like you go up inside and you just kind of like obviously like push your way into the conversation and be like, well, that's like this time when Zora, and it's totally unrelated, but you've just decided to say that's like this time with Zora. And then you just start describing stuff, and obviously you're like a 12-year-old rat child that has just interrupted them talking about there's this Vesk starship captain and I was buddied up with them and they're like a famous war hero, and then they've got a psychic lady pilot, and and they've got like this dead guy cop, and it just sounds like you've just made it up. Let's face it. Like, like it does.
And he's a lizard man, and he's huge. Like he's like the biggest lizard man I've ever seen. And then a big lizard man walks behind him, and then.
Yeah, because I mean, let's face it. Like lizard people probably aren't that rare in the StarFinder universe.
No.
But like, I just love the idea of Zigg being like, oh yeah, this Vesk starship captain that took me under their wing. And I mean, funny side note, the word Zigg in Vesk actually means
medkit.
Yeah, so weirdly they call me medkit. So I thought maybe I'll just go study medicine. So I'm studying that, but like yeah, do my best not to testify here, but at the same time, it's nice to kind of pad out these visuals and just like little kind of parts of Zigg's personality. But yeah, no, I like that. It's also kind of it's a nice way of kind of showing off the like Zigg's feelings, I guess, towards the group, right? As well, like the
I feel he's very fond of them.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
Otherwise, it's going to be a very awkward campaign.
Yeah, it's like this is the prequel where we see how the true opinions of Zigg, then the upcoming mutiny and betrayal. But yeah, it's like.
Well, I mean, I do have a few points in piloting. Just saying, I could take the ship for myself.
So everybody who's listening, take votes here. Should Zigg betray the party or should Zigg stay loyal? Vote in the comments
Kind of
below.
like choose your own adventure with Zigg. Hi there, I'm Zigg, and I'm asking you to choose your own adventure with me.
Amazing. But yeah, and I think as well, like maybe like they entertain the stories for a bit. They're probably used to you being kind of excitable. Like maybe some like the level of detail to the stories. Maybe some of them were like, maybe that happened. Maybe bits of this happened. Maybe we'll see. And then obviously people start to like hang out in the mess hall a bit longer. That closes eventually. People just do their thing. Go to like the libraries. They go to the the kind of almost like, I wouldn't say breakout areas, but like they got like training rooms and stuff that are left open to people. There's like the kind of the grand hall as well. Yeah, like random people are like chasing after their mentors down the hallways and stuff. You get people practicing like their kind of like martial arts regimes or routines. Maybe is a bit less intense than regime. But yeah, and then like after food, where does it go? Like what does he do? What's his thing after like the kind of? I mean, because you could have hung out with them in the mess hall for a bit, or you could have headed off to like go do your own thing. Like what's Zigg's like?
I think he'd
agenda?
probably go like if there'd be some sort of like sort of like meditation area zone thing for. I think he'd go there and attempt to crack his like go through his meditation like teachings. Mainly because I think it's probably his weakest point at the like this is the class he failed the most is sort of like reflection and meditation. I think he'd go and try and attempt to kind of meditate on his pilgrimage and his adventures with the crew.
Indeed. I can actually allow such a thing. Funnily enough.
Oh, great!
I know, right? Such benevolence. Let me find your character.
You are so kind, almighty GM.
I try. Let's see. What is the? Okay, so Zigg has no vision apparently.
I have no vision.
Let's see. Where is Zigg? Because what I'll do is, the best place to take you here is the one map I have, which is. Right, do you have dark vision of any kind or what?
I do 60 feet of dark vision.
Is it dark vision or low light you've got?
Dark vision.
Good.
With a D.
With the best D. What? I mean,
I wouldn't say the best.
Oh my.
He's a rat.
Let's see. Right, so that's fine. Okay, so that should be fine. I'm gonna move us to another map. Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh.
So
So our production value has increased dramatically. I can see. Oh, I can see a Zigg.
So don't move them just yet. Let me just
I
adjust all
don't
this.
plan to.
So I can adjust all of this. Let's try and see if we can follow him from his point of view. Right, so in theory, that should be what we can see. Good. I'm going to move over to my own controls now. Hopefully this will work quite well. We'll find out soon enough. So you should be able to see Zigg and also forward from Zigg.
Okay, I can see Zigg. I'll refresh the page just to
Yeah.
see if that seems to fix most problems. Oh my goodness. Why? Why did that happen?
Why did what happened? The corner vision?
When I refreshed, it launched me into the other game that I had open ages ago.
That would probably be why. It would probably because it's moved the kind of like, token of the like where you live.
Yes. that'll explain it.
Sure.
Right now I can just see Zigg.
Just Zigg.
Just Zigg. And a lot of black.
Mm. You should have vision. Let me edit your token again. Edit.
With sound and vision.
And emits light. All players see light. Has sight. Ah, maybe this is it. Maybe. Can you see now?
No. Try doing that zoom in and zoom out thing. Nope.
Zoom all the way out on the map. All the way out.
All the way out. I see a little tiny Zigg.
So weird that it's not giving you your light. So everybody at home can see exactly what they're meant to see.
Right.
Let me save that and see if this fixes it. Does that fix it?
No, I'll try reloading again. We'll see what happens. No, I still can't see.
So strange.
Bizarre.
Because see if you move yourself like one to the right.
Doesn't make any difference.
Well, it's definitely set correctly. How odd. Select the burning sun, select the
Reconnect.
burning sun.
Do 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 do. Bing, 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 bing. Ooh, ooh. Okay. I can see a 3x2.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's because I've set it so that you can do it. That's so strange. So strange. I wonder if I change this to a different setting. Let me see if I just disable all of that. And please stand by while I click buttons.
Buttons, he's pushing buttons. Yeah, the thing stuck in my throat.
How'd that work? Enjoy?
Nope.
What about
Okay, that's the 2x3 gone.
try to move to the left?
Just step to the left. Can't tell if that moved or not. Because the whole screen is black.
It didn't actually.
Okay, that moved.
It did, yeah. Still nothing. I don't know why it's not giving you the
No?
vision, because I mean it's definitely here. Let me just change the vision to like a different set. You have sight. Let's check that again. Let's just put all of this in. Let's just delete this away and then okay.
With sound and vision.
I mean it is assigned to Zigg, right? Zigg the Burning Sun. Let's assign it again. Controlled by save. Trying to hit see on the settings tab, trying to go down to reconnect.
Yep, I'll hit that. I'm sure that did something.
And then you should have light, basically. That's what you should have.
I should have light. I should have light. Okay. But yet I don't.
That's so strange. See if I do this. Let me have a look. Where is the thing that I need? To dump this down here. And then edit this. If I do this, you can tell me if it... Can you see that light source?
No.
What browser are you on?
Chrome.
I don't understand.
Is it possible you've like got the thing hidden? Because I know you can add like a fog of war type thing where it just hides it regardless of light.
Let's see. What about that?
Yes, that's fixed it.
What can you see?
I can see. Basically, I can see around me. There's like pillars here.
Delete this
Here.
just now. Go back into the vision. There
I
we
can
go.
see
That's-
there's a wall here, and then there's a shadow going along, like that way to
That's-
there,
I got you. I got
to
you.
there. Yeah.
And I'm gonna do this for Zigg.
Also, that looks really cool. Like this. Oh wow. Okay, that's a big glowy thing. I like that.
So,
Oh, that's the thing.
why don't you walk forward a couple of steps?
I don't know if I want to now. I was thinking, why can't I select it? It's because I got the ruler selected. Oh yeah.
So this is the grand hall that you're going to be heading into. You can go forward now a couple of steps.
I don't know if I want to. I see a big glowing egg. Future Calum. I don't want to metagame. I can't metagame. Oh, what's that over there? Can I go see that thing?
I mean, you're in Zigg's time, so...
I'm in Zigg time. Zigg is going over here.
This is what took me ages to try and actually code in.
This is cool.
Mm.
So, what is it? Is this some sort of like pool?
It's a magic part of the floor.
Oh, okay.
So those are like glowing runes on the floor. Hence
Right.
why-
Oh, yeah, no, I get you.
Hence why,
Nice to know
believe it or
about
not, it
that.
emits light. So if I actually disable your ability to see, let me just show everybody how that's done. Bum 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 bum. Save.
Okay, cool. That's cool.
And that's the light sources in your kind of field of view. Also, you've got the wrong level of light. I'm gonna give you your 60 feet, and
Thank you. Nice.
that's actually your 60 feet view. There we go. Yeah.
Cool.
Indeed. For those of you watching at home, you can actually... I'm going to try and leave him assigned that way so that you can see what he sees. I'm going to attempt to zoom out a tiny bit. Those are all pillars that obviously cast all those shadows.
Yeah. Also, yes, Zigg's going to be standing right here. Because look at it.
Yeah, right.
The
Yeah.
biggest, shiniest thing. Now, is Zigg aware of what it is, or is this just...
I mean, what would Zigg think that is, right? Based on the fact that it's the centerpiece, it's a giant golden glowing orb. Like, maybe you've just... maybe it's just a representation of the Burning Mother.
Of the sun, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know?
Because that's what I assume he'd think it is.
As far as we know, that's all it is, right? So...
Yeah. I just got checking that it wasn't like, this wasn't like on day one they went, this is a this.
No.
Okay, yeah. Just wanted to check. But yeah, he'd probably go there, he'd probably kind of kneel down in front of it and attempt
And
some sort
like
of,
this room's quite like a warm room, you know. There's quite a nice kind of
Yeah.
glow from this thing. Like it's
I think he'd probably have
quite cozy.
kind of go and like feel for, you know, the mystical force of the sun, try and connect with the Burning Mother, and you know, to help him with like meditating and
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's really cool. I'm sorry, I can't get over this map.
it's nice, isn't it? Like it's why it took me all that goddamn work at the start, being like, I have to trace this now. Makes nice patterns, doesn't it, with the light?
It really does. Like that'd be a really cool album cover.
It's almost like a scarab, isn't it, in a way?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so the like I think we've got this scene of you like sitting meditating, and it's up to you if you want to roll some dice. You could always roll a wee mysticism.
I'll happily roll a mysticism. Oh, I was gonna.
What level is it set to?
Technically, it's set to 2.
That's fine. Just give it a wee roll.
Okay. I mean, I can stick a minus in front of it if you want, but
If you know how it adjusts, you do the adjustments so that it rolls at the correct level.
actually, do you know what? I don't want to mess with it because I know it'll happen.
I mean, I'm sure
I'll
we can
just
do
break it.
I'm sure we can just remove one from the score, right?
Yeah, I can just do it like a -1. Let's see. Um, Connect. Oh, I can't type for
It's fine.
crap.
We got it. It's good enough.
Boop. 21.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Respectable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll say 20.
So like I think we have like we've got Zigg kind of like. I mean, are you like kneel down?
Yeah, so
Or-
kind of like on like one knee, on it, like say
Yeah.
his right knee for argument's sake, and he'd probably have like one arm kind of sitting on top of the other knee,
Yeah.
with the other one kind of down at the side.
Like a kind of knightly pose, a kind of kneeling knight type pose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chivalrous pose, I think it would be called. But yeah. Yeah, I think we have that, and then obviously like we've got you kind of like meditating, and you just have this kind of like nice kind of warm kind of glow kind of bathing over you, and it's not even just so much about the room anymore. It's almost like your kind of anxiety's calmed as well. You know, you have the I don't know, like a kind of a serenity about the whole thing. It's kind of like a maybe this is a room less used by a lot of people because of the kind of what's the word, like the auspicion maybe, like the you've got the scale of the place, you've got the fact that obviously like the Radiant Supreme who's in charge of the place is you know, someone to be fairly well respected. But yeah, I think with that as well, you've got the just the ability to know that you've spent a long time here. This is maybe your favourite place because you're generally left alone, you know.
Yeah,
So-
I kind of feel that, and obviously there's a big shiny thing in the middle of it.
Yeah,
But-
that definitely helps Zigg's opinion about it. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think like the vastness of the room would bother him at all.
No, definitely. I think I definitely agree with you on that one. Like, I'm just gonna do that thing where like I remove Zigg's vision just to give you an idea of what it would be like if you didn't actually have the ridiculous dark sight that you've got, or dark vision. And like, it's still pretty
It does
damn
look a
light.
bit more ominous,
Mhm.
but it's
Yeah,
still
like,
really light. So
the egg glows a bit. You know, that's what it definitely glows quite a bit. Let's save here and put your vision back on. There we go.
thank you.
Don't like the vision, like the map stuff definitely adds to it, you know. The only thing is I really need to start recording from you guys' perspective visually, because it saves me having to like really jank the visuals on this side. But yeah, like I think unless that, like we've got you, I think I found some peace. Where does Zigg's thoughts kind of drift to? Like where do you find peace in your head, in your meditations? This is probably the most serene you've been.
Yeah, I think you'd kind of like see like, you'd see the sun, and there'd be like a big zoom into the sun. It would be going inside the sun, into the center of the sun, into like right at the core of the sun, and then it would zoom back out. But the core of the sun is actually a cell in like the body. It would come up and it would come back out, coming out of Zigg's chest.
Yeah,
So it's really like this connection between the
Mhm.
sun and him being made of the same.
Like we are all
sort of
stardust
essence.
type.
We are all stardust. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that a lot. I think as well, like we've kind of got that kind of. I'm gonna edit your cinematic a little bit before we fade out on that and we skip ahead. Is yeah, I think we've got you. You've got your meditation. You've got that warmth, that serenity, the kind of zooming in. You've got like the cut of you staring at the, like, you know, or like closed eyed but kind of staring at the the orb of light in front of you, and then it kind of like flickers, and it kind of then just turns into that kind of like, it all ripples and becomes the sun, and then we realise the view is actually of the burning mother outside. It does that slow zoom in, and we go further and further in, and you see almost like the kind of like rippling layers of like the kind of like molten core and stuff, all swirling around, and it almost looks like the coiling of a snake almost, without ever seeing the actual snake itself. It's just like the kind of the layers of it kind of writhing over itself, like the kind of like the layers of the kind of, well, I'd call it lava, but it's not lava, the kind of magma, I think, plasma, magma, all those words.
It's kind of like a plasma-y thing, isn't it?
As it all kind of almost kind of swirls together, and that kind of almost hypnotising, hypnotic-y, relaxing lava lamp-esque vibe, and all of a sudden you've got the almost like a hiss almost of a creature of some kind, and then that's the snap of it zooming out really fast, and it's like the eyes that we see, they're reminiscent of like Zigg's eyes, just a very quick bright flash, and the plasma kind of coils, and it zooms out and zooms out and zooms out, and then that's where it comes out of the cells and out of the chest, and then maybe at that point you kind of just exhale gently as you kind of like open your eyes, and you've got like the reflection of the orb in your eyes, and that's where we cut to like black on the kind of meditation scene. So it's not like in other descriptions like that you would have a startled awakening, but yours is almost like a whoa kind of, that almost I've reached enlightenment, I've leveled up, that that kind of, I finally
what was that, I'm level 4 now? Oh, excellent.
No, you're finally level 2. What? But yeah, and I think with that as well, like we then do that kind of cut back to, alas, we're back. Let me just move everybody back. Where are we going? This one.
There we go.
To the main map, and for this particular episode, and yeah, I think with that as well, I guess in general, what's the words I'm looking for here? You're back there, you went back to your room after whatever, like, you probably have the best night's sleep, to be honest, you've ever had as well. Like, there's been maybe like a couple of anxious nights since you've been back at the temple.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, maybe maybe like a sleepless night, maybe, because if you've been back for a couple of days, you've had a couple of sleepless nights, and then you obviously get a ridiculously good night's sleep. Oh, hello, handout.
Oh, hello.
Goodbye, random handout. Why did you arrive? But yeah, so besides that, you've got that happens, it's all great. You're very pleased by this, of course, because getting a good night's sleep is kind of rare for Zigg.
Yes.
And yeah, let's just adjust some things here.
And I actually think after having like a proper good night's sleep, I think he'd actually be more like chilled out throughout the day. Like he wouldn't be as hyper and super like an insufferable 12-year-old. Let's face it.
What are you implying about our wonderful Zigg?
No, he is wonderful. I mean, he's basically an extension of myself. But no, yeah, like when you kind of pass like the stage of like tiredness, you're overtired and you're super hyper and everything's hilarious and thing. I kind of imagine like that's how I imagine Zigg is
just in general,
to some degree in general. So after having like a proper night's sleep, I think he'd be like, for like the first half of that day, he'd just be like actually quite chilled and very, almost as if he was a maturer version of himself.
Almost, definitely, yeah.
Almost.
I think as well, like there's a level of like I guess like maybe you've been in a way humbled maybe by the like the vision that you've had. Because again, it's almost like I guess looking at like the heart of the sun type vibe, you know. Again, Zigg's way of understanding it is like personifying it as some kind of weird, writhing, kind of huge creature.
Yes.
Like, because I mean, the Burning Mother's like revered as some kind of personification anthropomorphically, you know. So, yeah, I think that's definitely what we see. And yeah, I think what we do is, unless like Zigg does anything on like the morning of graduation day,
I think the morning of graduation day is just pretty slow paced and just kind of relaxing and mentally just preparing himself. I think, going to his happy place, kind of reflecting on the vision of the previous night, the whole.
Yeah, as I said, like that kind of, you know, kind of seeing how small you are in the greater scale of the universe is again kind of part of the kind of like the vision of you seeing the sun as a cell within you, and you within it. You know, like that kind of, you know, the cycle as well. Welcome to like existentialism and philosophy about space with Ryan and Calum. And yeah, and I think like graduation day happens. Obviously, you're in the morning of it. It's a bit kind of quieter, I think is the best way to put it, than normal. We've got Edzo appears and kind of like knocks gently on the door frame, knowing that you're obviously up and about. And she kind of like stands there with her hands kind of like clasped in front of her, and like her like robes kind of draped towards the like her sleeves kind of draped down to her hands. Didn't mean that to say as sultry as it did apparently, but she's very well and, you know, decently dressed, and she kind of just like knocks and kind of like stands awaiting your response. Like, there's no like door that's stopping her there. It's like she's just waiting in the doorway essentially.
Yeah. I don't think he'd actually say anything, but he'd like turn round and just kind of look at her. Not in like a rude sort of just like what, but as in just like turn around and like just as if ready to receive whatever she's going to say.
And I think as well you've got the like the what do you call it? The look of her with these kind of like amberish kind of almost coral coloured robes that she's wearing, like kind of bits of golden cord going through them as well, kind of like asymmetrically, and like around her neck hangs like a kind of brooch thing, and her eyes, the glowing amber eyes, her little mote of light above her as well. It kind of just like almost looks a bit like a glare in a photograph, but like always just seems to be with her. Kind of obviously you'd be well used to this as just essentially a companion of hers. And yeah, she kind of just stands there, and you can see that she's taking like the measure of you. You know, she's looking up and down, taking you in, noticing something's changed within you. You know, and that kind of you're definitely taking it more seriously than she thought you would. Not necessarily it's a bad thing, but yeah, it's just one of those. He's. Yes. But yeah, I think with that, she then just says, "Are you ready, Zigg?"
I think you'd stand sort of almost kind of to attention, and nod and just go,
Are you?
With a determined look on his face.
Yeah, and like I think like again, she's not really used to this version of Zigg, so she's kind of a bit like, "Oh God, is he okay?" kind of, you know. But she's doing her android way of sharing that by like, "Do you have any last moment concerns?"
I think at that he just, no, not. We're good to go. I'm ready.
Like I think she has like a kind of very kind of like simple smile on her face. Just, I know you are. And you get like a kind of almost wave of like warmth from that statement. Just she'll be there and she goes, "I'll be there with you in the temple hall. You have nothing to worry about." And she kind of just like kind of bows her head very slightly, and like a half nod, if you will, and then just leaves the room, like kind of without really saying much, not really making a fuss of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's Zigg's kind of reactions to it? Like, is he left thought, or did we fade out there? Like, what? Like, can you describe it to me?
Yeah, I think when she was there, he was very, sort of attentive. Like probably had his fist like clenched. His shoulders were probably quite tight, and I think as she left, he'd probably relax his hands, and the shoulders would drop, and he would just kind of look more, not more relaxed, because he was relaxed like during that, but just kind of more casually relaxed. If that makes any sort of sense.
Yeah, no, I get it. And yeah, no, I think it's maybe like a kind of, maybe like his shoulders slump a tiny bit, but we get in that kind of nice way where we get it, like, you have calmed down that bit, you're not as worried, if you will, as you might have been before. No, like I quite like that kind of image, because it's kind of nice way of being like, no, this is Zigg. He's not as, I guess, upset really anymore. Like he's I mean, you've kind of got this right.
Yeah.
Just editing a bunch of this just now. That's fine there.
Kind of like the progression of me as a person during this session.
That worried, are we? You'll be fine. Fine, I need to just adjust this. There we go. Just try to make sure my production value is top notch, of course, with the maps.
Oh yes.
Because I'm working between two different Roll20s, obviously. The joy.
This will be streamlined in the future.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Eager viewers. But for now, you're going to have to deal with their technical jank.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll want to join for the journey. If anyone wants to apply for the job of the production manager, let me know. I could really use one, thank you. There's no pay, except the hilarity of being involved. And yeah.
And great big hugs.
Of course, always. Right, I just need to make sure I'm on the right layer. Is that the one I want to be in? That's the one I want to be in. I'll be on this one. Okay, just see if this works. I hope this works, otherwise it might be absolutely horrible. But we'll find out. Sure, that's fine. We'll find out. But yeah, so I think with that we fade out on Zigg with his slumped shoulders, kind of looking a bit more relaxed. Maybe his nose twitches a little bit as well. And then I think we cut to like the black screen that just comes up and says graduation day. And then we'll move people back to the map. Hopefully.
Ooh.
This works.
Oh wow. What's going on here?
What I need to do is give the viewers at home a viewpoint, because they can't see right now. Where is... Oh. Where is this particular... Did I delete it? Maybe no, I didn't. There we go. So I pop this person here. I'll give you a buddy.
Oh, hi!
I'm going to give you... I guess 120. All players have sight done. Bam. And then assign that to... There we go. Good. People at home can see now. Good. That looks good. But yeah, so when I have this view, this wonderful ceremony room, as it were. You've got all the other students, maybe some people have been before you already during the graduation
Yeah.
process, like their mentors go up, they talk alongside the Radiant Supreme. We'll do a wee handout for the Radiant Supreme as well, I think. Let's do that just now.
He's just fantastic.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah, I'm very fond of him, I'm not going to lie. Where are we? Handouts.
I feel like we need a little bit of like a side story of the Radiant Supreme at some point.
Oh, hell yeah.
Or just like an audiobook. We can do.
Here we go. Here is our wonderful Radiant Supreme. For everyone at home. I assume that bounced for you as well, Calum, so that should be good.
Yes, it did.
And
I'm always happy to see him.
Our wonderful Osharu. I was gonna say Overlord, but yeah, whatever. But yeah, he's the Radiant Supreme of this particular monastery of the Solar Disciples. And yeah, he's a wonderfully slow old slugman, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Kind of vibes of terrifying veteran warrior mixed in with adorable granddad, I think. And
yeah.
Obviously we've got your let's see if I can remember, is it Shift C for this one? No, Shift Z, that's the other one. There we go, we've got her, your mentor there as well, and obviously wonderful Radiant Supreme.
Excellent.
We also have wonderful Zigg.
Oh, thanks. Except that's the wrong image for him now.
That's the token. And we've got wonderful Eye of Janus.
Hi, Nick.
We have a wonderful crowd that I just borrowed because it made it look good.
Yes. Currently, they are not actually fighting, I hope.
No, they're just there for atmosphere because I typed in crowd to the token layer and it gave me that, so I was like, that's good enough.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, wow, okay, stuff got real fast.
Yeah. And yeah, I think obviously you're kind of standing there, like whatever, like describe. I mean, how does the ceremony go? Like, what's the process? Like, you're there, you're ready to obviously do your bit, discuss your pilgrimage.
Yeah.
All the
I
other
think
students are in the pit below, if you will.
Yeah. I think. Well, I suppose we can run through what happened probably before all the other students before him. I think what would kind of happen is, their mentor would stand up, and her and the Radiant Supreme would have just like a kind of brief just chat that's kind of not audible enough for the student to hear. So, that's that sort of way that teachers would do.
Yeah, like
to
they would
make
discuss
you feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah, like almost like the footnotes, really, isn't it? The whisperings, and I think for that as well, you've got her. Like her job as a mentor was like she would take ownership of you as a person. Like
Yes.
not in a slavery, but more in a she's responsible for you. And this
Yeah,
ceremony,
sort of a guardian type.
yeah, and like this process, I think, is her handing you over to essentially the Radiant Supreme to be handed over to the Burning Mother.
Yeah.
I think is like the kind of the ceremonial kind of aspect of the the.
Yeah, no, that's a really nice way of putting it. Yeah.
Because I think it's like I have taken him this far on the journey. I am handing over to you, as all people are handed over to you, to the Radiant Supreme, who then essentially releases, your custody, if you will, to the Burning Mother, mother of all of the galaxy.
Yep.
I quite like that. It's quite a nice ethos to it, like a nobody owns you. We are all stardust.
Yeah. I don't know. It makes me as a person feel really good.
Right. I'm gonna be.
I'm just like, I want to join.
Yeah.
I want to join this monastery now.
Especially if I get cool space powers. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think obviously you've got a bunch of people looking quite chuffed with themselves because they feel like they've graduated. They've got their space name. Like half of them are excited. Maybe. The other half are like, maybe are you last to go, or are you were you in the middle? Like,
if it's an alphabetical order, then I reckon. Which, let's face it, most ceremonial type things are just for ease. So I reckon he's probably last or near last. There might be like one or two.
Well, like zygote.
Yeah.
Zygote's last. But no, I like maybe the idea that you are last, and maybe it's one of those kind of, it probably made it even worse, right? It was probably so much more nervous because you were last.
Yeah, I think at this point, you kind of have that, sort of. I don't know if people use this in real life, but when you're climbing, you get a thing called disco leg,
Right, okay.
which is where your leg is uncontrollably shaking because you're standing on it and
Yeah.
and it's my leg's doing it right now. I can't obviously show this to everyone.
No, like you get it.
But,
Like, see when you work at a desk a lot as well, your leg just starts to shake.
Yeah, or drummer syndrome.
Mhm.
Is a similar affliction.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just basically when your foot's like on your toes, and your legs just shaking uncontrollably. And he's probably kind of twiddling his thumbs a little bit.
Yeah, it's that kind of like probably hyper aware of like how active he is.
Everyone can see me.
Yeah, I think this is probably like, I mean, for once you're above everybody as well from the main students, you probably do end up feeling that kind of runt of the litter vibe sometimes. But yeah, and obviously again, just to remind folk, it isn't just all the Soki that are here. It is.
Oh, there's a good good mix
As like
of races.
As me and Calum discussed regarding the the wonderful Radiant Supreme, he being a slug person, they really like moisture, so his ability to withstand the probably horrible conditions of being this close to the sun are a nice testament to his abilities of being a badass, quite frankly.
Yeah. I just love that like idea.
No,
considering all the options we kind of went for were all either aquatic or loved moisture planets.
Yeah, we did well.
Did do well.
But then we saw him, and he was like, he's the one.
Perfect.
Yup. No, totally agreed. But yeah, so like we've got her up talking to the Radiant Supreme. Like when you kind of take on your name as well, you kind of give up your other name. You take on your son name.
Yes.
Obviously, Radiant Supreme's a good one. I think if you got that at graduation, you'd be like, "Well, I'm destined for bright things," But yeah, so like we've got you kind of twitching and whatnot, and we've got Edzo14 kind of like adjusts a bit of her robe and the cord holding it together, and it's obviously clearly finished discussing things with the Radiant Supreme. He kind of very kind of methodically kind of like shuffles his head over and his eyes blink on the eye stalks, and he's staring kind of like vaguely at the room in general, I guess. It doesn't really seem like he's focused on anyone in particular, almost like he's trying to blink his eyes into focus. And you have Edzo address the room in her kind of slightly tinny voice, with her little reverb bit to her, and she goes, "Zigg," and then she lets that kind of fill the room a bit, and that kind of just gets the attention of all the shuffling students behind you, and maybe you have that nerves thing because it's almost like they're not really paying attention, they're all kind of like talking to themselves, or they're getting excited because they graduated, and then obviously like this is the last one, and Zigg's fear about not necessarily being liked,
Yes.
And then she says that, and it kind of like resonates around the room, and everybody stops, and maybe that also focuses you and snaps you to attention. She goes,
I think a sort of like deafening sort of silence moment as well. I think Zigg would be really uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, and like she steps down, and kind of gestures for you to step forward.
I think he'd definitely take like just sort of a beat, take a deep breath, and then just on his exhale, just take like that step forward with his eyes closed, and then just kind of like peek his eyes open as he's stepped forward to like the floor hasn't like come away from under him or
Yeah, totally.
That sort of nonsensical way you do when you're just nervous about something that you probably shouldn't be that nervous about, but it's a big moment.
Yeah, and I think maybe you kind of like get your eyes closed, and then when you open them, like you kind of feel her hand on your shoulder, and then she's kind of like just looking down at you, kind of smiling, her like amber eyes glowing, her little kind of like amber light kind of floating gently behind her, and yeah, and like she kind of like tilts her head, and like her robes slightly shift on her shoulders, and her kind of like golden pendenty thing like slightly shifts out the way. And I mean, maybe that's even why you picked up that kind of silvery pendant as well, because maybe like hers has been so eye-catching, like kind of like almost like kind of like a brassy gold that hers is, like a kind of old antique gold. And you got yourself like a kind of shiny silvery one because you think, well, I'll get one like hers, but not like hers, so she doesn't think it's like hers.
Yeah,
Like and then
that's sort of way you kind of base your style off someone, but you need to kind of do it differently.
Yeah, it's like it's an homage to your style.
I'm not dressing like you. I'm just, it's just
I
similar.
just appreciate your aesthetic, physically and literally. But yeah, and I think maybe that's like the shot we get of it, where you've picked something as similar as you could find to hers, and maybe that's where we finally see her kind of medallion-y thing on her, like she's like a kind of fancy sun, and then like a kind of bright amberish jewel in the middle of it. It's almost got like little kind of like fiery kind of like points to it, almost like a kind of what you'd see in the top of like a map, or like a kind of like if the compass points were the sun emblem on a map, It's got all these little kind of like wavy lines coming out of it as if they were the arms of the sun. And we kind of see like you've got your almost like silverish version of it. Did you leave it in your room? Did you bring it with you? Is it?
It's in my cheek pouch.
It's in your cheek pouch, yeah. I think maybe like as you look up at her and the camera focuses on that pendant, maybe like you switch it from one cheek to the other in your mouth.
Yeah, and it's got that kind of like very audible sort of like clack between each side of the teeth. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, totally. And it's one of those kind of nervous things of totally not thinking about that.
Yeah. I almost looked at my desk for like a metal like coin or something to actually do that one. I was like, that's a bad idea. I would just breathe it in and choke to death.
Please don't. Not live.
Not live. That'd be horrible.
Can't get that in post.
Nick witnesses my death. Oh no.
Horrible. Less of that talk. So she got her hand on your shoulder, and she grips slightly, in that kind of reassuring, it's okay, you can open your other eye type way.
Yeah.
And she says, "You'll be like." She kind of like just says to you very kind of quietly, she's like, "You'll be fine." And then she stands at the side of you, as if presenting you to the Radiant Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
And he on the pedestal, kind of looks around, and kind of like blinks, and like you see his eyes slightly focusing on you, which is probably quite, there's a weird pressure all of a sudden, like as if when he was just kind of standing kind of idle, he seemed fine, but as soon as he seems to focus, like there's almost like what you call spiritual pressure, that kind of weight of personality, and he's looking at you. You can never ever tell if he's disappointed or just like asleep. Like that's, he has that look of, are you paying attention to me? Are you disgusted with me? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But obviously he's the Radiant Supreme. You never question him. And he been thinking the whole time while planning this session, what voice is he going to have? And I figured he's just going to have my voice.
Okay. You're not going to give him like a Zigg.
No.
Please tell me about your adventure.
I am.
That's not sustainable.
And then so he kind of goes and he kind of like motions for everyone's attention, and then goes, I don't know, like it's almost like a kind of slurping noise in a way, his voice, a kind of a very wet voice that he has, and it's almost like that kind of lots of kind of squelching noises as he talks, and he goes, "Thank you, Edzo 14." And it's very like methodical, and it's almost like thunder breaking his voice a bit as well, but like I mean the phrase "wet thunder" sounds like a 80s power.
Great name for a band.
Wet thunder.
Wet thunder. That's getting written down. Sorry.
And then so he's like, and who are you presenting? And then Edzo obviously kind of grips your shoulder once before letting go.
Yeah.
And then
I think like kind of before she let go, I think he'd kind of put his like opposite hand, kind of like not on her hand, but like just like on the same shoulder.
Yeah, like you kind of like absently kind of cross like from like your, if it was on your right shoulder, it'd be like your left arm going across to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like almost that absentmindedly reaching for it type thing.
Yes.
And I think like she grips your kind of shoulder and stands kind of to a tent, and then kind of almost side on between yourself and the Radiant Supreme. She says, "I present Zigg of the Solar Disciples." And she kind of like nods in kind of reverence to the Radiant Supreme. He kind of like does a return nod. And he says, "And what has your pilgrimage brought?" That kind of crackling, thundery, voice that he's got. And he kind of like motions for you to kind of like come forward.
Again, I think he'd probably, take a second before stepping.
And like if you do that, like you just see her eyes dart from like the kind of bow to you. And that kind of make a move, please.
I think that if like clocking that, he'd probably do that like sort of like rushed step.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'd take that second and then go, oh nope, shit, and then big step forward. Probably almost kind of like tripping on his own thing, like not actually tripping, but like kind of like almost,
almost
stumbling
like a stumbled
forward.
step, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's where like the Radiant Supreme then kind of like motions you up, and then I'm kind of standing with him, and then he's kind of waiting to see obviously what your pilgrimage, like what you've brought back for, your journey. How have you gained your enlightenment?
I think Zigg would take a deep breath and then just like I think he'd kind of give like like the story he's basically been giving the whole time about his adventures with the crew and like just various things they've been up to and how he's been spreading the word of the burning sun, but he's doing it in such a way that's very non-Zigg-esque. He's being very deliberate
Almost
with his
like
words, and unfortunately Calum doesn't have the words. Yeah,
like a public talk when you have to like do any kind of like a presentation style speaking.
Yes.
And it doesn't sound like how you sound normally.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Calum doesn't have the words to actually articulate that.
That's fine, and I mean Zigg sometimes doesn't always need the words to articulate things either.
Well, this is true.
Because Zigg can mind link.
Yes. Although I think at this point his mind linking is very not fantastic.
Oh, indeed. But I mean, that's what we're
Actually,
here for.
can I mind link with the
The Radiant Supreme.
Radiant Supreme? Is that a terrible idea?
I mean, is that how you're going to impart your enlightenment? Why not? Right? I mean, it's something you can do. It's something that, your mentor can't do. So
I think I'm gonna give it a bash.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Well, if you can click mind link so it shows up in the chat log.
Sure, I will do. Also,
Mind like ask Ryan.
yeah, well, it is. It's like, so what happened here? I don't know. Just ask Ryan.
Yeah, and I think like you describe it. How are you motioning for him to make contact with you?
I think what he'd do is kind of do that kind of really slowly and like almost his hand shaking, like put his hand out, like with his kind of palm like forward and his fingers pointing up, but like it's really hard to describe, right? So his hands kind of sideways, but his fingers are kind of pointing up, and his arms outstretched, and he's just kind of looking up at the Supreme Commander.
Yeah.
I only said that because there's a Supreme Commander CD, like the game is sitting right there, and I can see it.
It's a very good game. Anyone who hasn't played it,
everyone should play Supreme Commander. Actually, we should. Play
yeah,
Supreme
we should play that. Yeah.
But,
I mean, we're doing one-on-one roleplay. I think a little self-indulgence is allowed.
yes. So yeah, the Radiant Supreme. Sorry, just kind of like looking sort of intently at his eye things.
Yeah, like his eye stalks. Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of like motioning with his eyes towards his hand.
Yeah, there's there. Like, right. He's.
Oh no, he's actually got eyes.
Mhm.
I guess his eyes then.
And yeah. So it's kind of weird, like tentacly almost. Like,
Yeah.
kind of appendage thing. Kind of like, he puts his hand up in that kind of, how curious kind of way, and they start kind of like writhing, and he puts his hand out. And
I think
they kind of like
Zigg
curl
would
in that kind of like gentle as soon as they caress. Like you've got this kind of like, you were expecting it to be almost slimy, but it wasn't. And then it kind of just slowly, like just gently, kind of like curls around, like maybe Zigg's kind of hand.
Mm-hmm. I think Zigg would absent-mindedly be chewing on the little pendant as well.
And I think like as he's kind of like the contact's being made as well. Like I think it's like before he motions, he kind of notices that you're kind of gesturing for him to make contact, and you hear that kind of like that wet thunder voice again. You're like, oh, as if he's just realised this is what you're trying to achieve here. And you kind of like just, kind of a bit more kind of brightly than you've seen him before. Does his contact with your hand. And then what do we get? What happens?
I don't know, ask Ryan. Yeah, so basically, I think he would kind of panic a little bit and attempt to just dump everything from as soon as he left the monastery to as soon as he got back.
Yeah, it's almost like when someone goes, "Oh, tell me what happened," and then you get like the actual blow-by-blow, second-by-second description that you never ever want, but people give you when they're like, "Oh my god, here we go."
I think previously he'd probably like planned what he would roughly kind of try and show him, but or convey to him.
Mm-hmm.
But just like the whole pressure of the situation and everything, he just kind of freaked and went, everything.
Yeah. So it's just like, oh god, I might actually have to perform now. Bah. Yeah.
Yes.
And everything goes, and I think we get that kind of shot of like Zigg's eyes instantly glowing at the same time as like the Radiant Supreme's eyes glow as the exchange happens. And maybe this isn't necessarily visible to everybody in the room, but it's definitely like the eyes glow and the kind of the light exchange between the hands, almost like kind of coils of light between them for the mind link. And we kind of flash into like the Radiant Supreme's eyes, and we get the kind of the montage of Zigg packing up his stuff, leaving, getting his transport over, like kind of hands up against the transport window with his face pressed against it, his nose twitching, his whiskers kind of brushing against it. All the way, like snippets all the way to him like buddying up with the crew, like him stumbling across obviously like Zora and Emmeline and Lyko and Nyx5 and all the random montage bits would have of them and you, even to the point of like you patching people up, like pushing more of your mystic abilities. It's almost like we get the kind of, if you were playing a video game and you watched a video on like the class showcase, where it'd be like, here's us showcasing the rogue class, or here's us showcasing the mystic class. So we get to see like almost like a kind of range of like Zigg's abilities, which are fairly formidable, to be honest, for like a 4-foot rat boy. And because I mean, you've got like the ability to just magically knit people's like wounds together. So it's pretty powerful stuff, to be honest. And yeah, I think we get like that kind of flash evidence of maybe 10 images really quickly.
Yeah.
And then like we can like snap back to the room by hearing screaming.
Oh nah.
Yeah, we do. And just in true Ryan style to ruin all lovely nice moments. We have that slow motion shot of it scanning down, the light from the Radiant Supreme's eyes kind of die down, and then like he kind of like blinks and looks at you, and like your eyes kind of die down, and then your eyes go wide because your eye level is staring at like the laser blast that's hit his chest, and he kind of like stumbles to his knees and kind of like collapses and kind of like falls down the stairs a bit. Obviously people are like panicked. That was the scream that kind of like woke you up, obviously, like the horror, as it were, of the realization that this has just happened. And I mean, yeah, it's not ideal, quite frankly. It is not ideal at all.
No, that's not ideal at all.
And yeah, I think we see people appear. Let's see if I can get all of them that I want. To move these across. So the tokens don't necessarily represent perfectly, but I find different tokens to do what I can. So as we look at the other side of the map, this one in the middle seems to be, it's a female, it's a drow by looks of things, and let me just show the handout, shall I? Let's just show the handout. We see this.
Ah! No!
Yeah.
I mean, she looks flippin' awesome, but...
Yeah, so she's...
No!
And she's accompanied by... Let me see if I can get all these here. So I need to put... She's accompanied by one of the guards who stands right next to her, who there isn't a token on the map for yet, but I'll show you this dude. In very kind of fancy armour. Standing right next to her, almost as if he's her personal guard, one might say. And then the... do I have the other ones? I don't think I've got the other ones on here, but we have seen them before. Give me 2 seconds, I'll see if I've got them in my library right now. Please stand by.
Can I just say, I'm still really upset that you killed one of the coolest guys in the universe.
I mean, it's on your watch, man.
I know.
I mean, that's...
I'm gonna get like a shrine in real life for this guy.
The two people either side of her, I'm just gonna drag this onto the map because, god damn it, it's being annoying. The handout didn't load for this one. I'm not just gonna spend time making one. Let me just throw this on here. There we go. And that's the what the other ones look like.
No.
Just kind of generic-y soldiers for the drow. So yeah, that's you see, and they've taken their shots. As soon as that happens, Edzo 14 runs straight towards him, like hands on his chest, and then instantly turns around. Her amber eyes like flare up gold, and like the mote of light just instantly like kind of like hits her in the chest, and like her entire kind of like body is wreathed in these kind of like almost golden kind of ethereal light robes over her, but like kind of like more elaborate, you know, as if maybe she was wearing the starting gear when you saw her, and now she's wearing the end game gear, you know, equivalent of her kind of monk's robes. And she's kind of giving off lots of kind of golden light at this point. And she pretty much just kind of, you know, runs and kind of leaps off of here over the crowd, and then kind of like lands, kind of superhero landing style, over here. in front of said woman. And she lands, the kind of ground kind of like cracks a little, and the kind of like the robes all kind of do that settling fluttery thing where like the kind of trails of light were left behind, and it all kind of like after image as she lands. It almost looks like a kind of goldeny amberish jellyfish almost, the way it would have flown across from that to that, which I think is kind of cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and yeah, so she's moved over there. I'm going to see, can I do anything that would be kind of funky? I don't think I can do anything funky for that. That work maybe? No, let's see. Missile here to here. Yeah, so she
Yeah,
does,
that'll do. That's decent.
yeah, you know, she does that. You know, that kind of awesome kind of leap over. As it takes it like 400 years. And yeah, so she lands there. She like, looks up, and then our wonderful drow lady, who we all know and love, of course, kind of looks at her, and then raises a hand, and then these kind of like almost like shadowy kind of like almost like ribbons kind of like fly out of her hand, and almost like start to wrap around all the kind of glowing light that's coming off of her, and she seems to kind of just be like slowly being like pinned to the ground as these kind of ribbons are wrapping around her and then like kind of like anchoring themselves like into the ground, so they kind of like gently flutter around her and then all of a sudden like kind of like fire rapidly into the ground, almost pinning her. And then we've got the soldiers just moving into the crowd, quite frankly. And I think at this point as well, we maybe just see just how many that we have. So yeah, would you like to roll initiative for me, Zigg?
Sure. Don't know if I want to. Oh, I should probably have clicked on my thing first.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll do that again. Nah, slightly worse.
Okay, let me give this token a turn. Add turn. And I'll roll for it. Let's see. /GM roll 1d20. And where is the initiative score for this wonderful, wonderful lady? Okay, a modest number, that's fine. We're gonna give, where is she? And then let's add the turn for these guys. And that's their initiative. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Undo that. That's okay. So you should be able to see the initiative tracker.
Yep.
So she's went, they went. She's pretty much going to be using her turn to try and break out. Zigg.
Cool. Can I propose we take 5?
Of course you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Just so I can. I think I'm going to need a cup of tea for this one.
Yes, indeed. We're going to take a break here, and we shall return for a part 2. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.